What's the worst excuse for cheating? Story 1. This one happened to a good friend of mine. I was with him just after this little gem was dropped on him, and it took him some time to recover. I wasn't actually cheating on you. I was dating another guy first, so I was actually cheating on him. Madam President of the Society of Pedantics didn't see an issue with what she said. Edit. Holy hell, this blew up more than I thought it would. Waking up to see all the kind words people online are sending me has made me smile today. I'll try to reply to as many as I can. My friend is doing well. He stopped dating for a while to focus on himself and improving his own situation. It's a little over a year after the breakup with his ex, and he's doing well in life. To everyone who has had a similar / the same thing happen to them, I'm so sorry. You deserve better. Remember, you're loved. There are people who genuinely love you in your life. If you have someone in your life that fake loves you, you don't deserve that. And they don't deserve you. I don't get that one. Maybe in a very pedantic way you weren't cheating, but you were seeing someone else that wasn't him, you were lying about it, and you were sort of fudging your feelings on each person. That's still all the stuff that goes with cheating without calling it cheating, and I just don't... It just sucks still. Story 2. Unfortunately, some people want drama. A friend of mine got cheated on. His girlfriend slept with a guy while on vacation. Didn't tell him, obviously. He found out because one of her friends felt bad and told him. When he confronted her about it, she dumped him via Facebook. Didn't even have the guts to do it in person or with a phone call, claiming he was boring. When I was discussing this with my other friends, I really couldn't figure out why someone doesn't just end the relationship they're not happy about. Another friend said that it probably wasn't exciting enough for her. FYI, he's now happily married, to someone else obviously, and with a kid, but the cheating hurt him badly. I was dumped via message before. This was instant message before phones. It did kind of sting just that little bit more that this person didn't even talk to me in person or even talk over the phone. So, yeah, that stings just that little bit more. Story 3. She's your twin. Does it really count as cheating? I dated a girl with an identical twin. One night, I came up behind her, wrapped my arms around her, and planted a gentle kiss on her neck. Normally, she liked that a lot, but this time she said, "What the frack are you doing?" It was her twin. So embarrassed. Luckily, they both saw the funny side because it's happened before. I have heard of some twins that will try to get out of a situation by convincing their twin to go in their place, or them just trying to see what would happen. Thankfully, this person at the end was able to escape any type of persecution that we know of. Story 4. When you cheat, you get the excitement of something new and the danger of getting caught. You also get to dump all the emotional legwork of breaking up on your partner. It's win-win, if you don't mind being the scum of the earth. They overlook the lose-lose part of the equation. Story 5. I'll never forget my first semester in college. I met a girl in Psychology 101 that shared with the whole class that her boyfriend cheated on her. She said she was going to forgive him because his reason for cheating was because he had never slept with a black girl before and wanted to know what it was like. Story 6. Came home early from work to my last ex in bed with another guy. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I didn't think you would find out. I came home early because I spilled a fryer on my leg, and she ignored my call for a ride because she was busy being smashed. I'm still mad when I think about it. Man, I'm sorry to hear about that. She's fracking terrible, man. That really sucks. He's getting emotional and physical trauma that he is going to be dealing with all at once. Just wish he could have dealt with the physical pain first and at least then the emotional pain second. But if he came out of all of that stronger with dealing with both at the same time, Then I'm glad he did. Story 7. Ex-girlfriend tried to get one of my close friends to do things with her. When he told me, and I asked her about it, she told me she liked him, but still liked me more. That was the last straw. At least now you know you have a good and trustworthy friend. Story 8. You aren't exactly my type. Actual quote after 3 years of living together. A bit late to recognize that, huh? What a douche. Sorry you had to go through that. Story 9. It just happened. The storm was so strong it shredded our clothes off and we had to hold on tight to not fly off. I guess a gust of wind pushed my tool into her. There was a whole series of ads from MTV that were comic-style interpretations of these really intricate Rube Goldberg-type situations where somehow these two people end up having spicy time, and it was a whole thing to tell you to be protected because it just does not happen. Story 10. Sorry, we started the threesome without you, but your friend filled in for you. Story 11. I got called wussy for not cheating on you in a dream. This has to be one of the worst ones. Story 12. I thought it was funny you didn't know. Yep, that actually happened to me. I'm trying to figure this out because it could read a couple of ways. It sounds like the person is either thinking this is a practical joke, and they said, I thought it was funny you didn't know, or that they had thought that the other person knew they were seeing another person all along and was just saying, oh, I thought it was funny you didn't know. Either way, that's just totally devoid of any feelings for how the other person is going through all this. Story 13. I was looking for an excuse to break up. If you want to break up, why don't you just break up? Story 14. I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship. Ned Fulmer. Story 15. I respect you too much to do with you what I did with them. Story 16. I thought about you the whole time. Story 17. You're too nice. I'm doing you a favor. Story 18. She's way hotter than you. Story 19. One that I heard from a former marriage counselor was a woman who claimed her husband was so affectionate, hardworking, and considerate, she developed an inferiority complex and dealt with it by cheating. Story 20. Dude, people joke about this, but it's a real flaw if it's true. Imagine if someone was honest about it and said, my biggest flaw is that I'm a perfectionist. I spend too long on every task because I feel really uncomfortable if things aren't done right. This also makes me avoid starting tasks or taking on projects because I know they'll all be a ton of work and stress me out. I also get frustrated with my coworkers during group projects because they don't have the same standards, so I'll either end up redoing some of their work and resenting the burden, or I'll leave it that way and feel smeggy about the whole project. I'm afraid to try things that I don't think I'll be good at. I hate doing presentations because I can see these tiny flaws in my work, and I'm terrified that other people will see them too. I simultaneously believe that my work is better than everyone else's, and that my work is so imperfect that I'll be immediately fired if anyone looks closely. I can't handle rejection on any level. People think I'm stuck up, but I really just have a lot of anxiety, and I'm afraid that people will see that I'm deeply flawed, and they'll hate me without telling me, so I'm a little stiff and aloof with new people, so sales and team bonding exercises are out. I'll eventually quit with 2 weeks' notice when you pass me up for a promotion because you went with someone who is sloppy but charismatic. Story 21. The lights were off. I couldn't see. Story 22. He caught me cheating. Serves him right for spying on me. Random girl I overheard talking on her phone. That's exactly how my ex tried to gaslight me when I caught her. You did this to yourself. You went through my phone looking to get hurt. I went looking for answers, which is exactly what I found. Story 23. It was my birthday, and I really wanted to. Story 24. I noticed that instead of saving money, we were losing about $6,000 of our savings per month. We had a specific dollar goal to put a down payment on a house. When I looked into it, I found out my ex-wife was spending over $6,000 a month. She got upset and said that she should be allowed to do whatever she wanted to with our money. She had been buying random URL names in the hopes one would be the name of an up-and-coming business that would have to buy it from her. Like a patent troll, but with websites. I had been working my butt off picking up extra work travel to save money for us, and then took up even more work trips to make up for the losses and get us back on track to buy a home. After that, whenever I returned home, she was cold and distant. I tried to be affectionate to her, and she told me to hook up with other women while on my work trips because she wasn't in love with me anymore. She said she loved me like a cousin and hoped we could continue being married, but in a non-traditional way, meaning she could still spend all my money. When I found out she had been cheating, she said that she stopped loving me when I criticized her use of our savings and then started traveling more, which gave her time to reconnect with an ex. She had broken up with the ex about 10 years prior when he became a pill-popping horse addict. When they reconnected, he was clean, so she left me for him. So the reasons were, 1, I shouldn't have been upset about her using our savings to buy website names instead of a down payment on a house. 2, if I didn't get upset at the loss of all that savings, I wouldn't have picked up more work, giving her the time and space to reconnect with her ex. And 3, she's always loved him, and he was clean now. Story 25. I just have a flirty personality. Story 26. I'd had nothing but bad experiences and had so many good ones with you that I needed to know if I was fixed. Story 27. I'm an alpha, and that's what we do. Yes, that's a real one. Story 28. It was a misunderstanding. Her name was the same as yours, so I got confused. Story 29. I was going to tell you eventually, but I wanted to make sure that we had a genuine connection. I was given this line and shortly after went off the deep end for a while. Became a heavy alcoholic. She implied that in order to make sure her and her new boyfriend had a real connection, she went over to his place several times, with her even taking him back to her place, which is where I found them. Story 30. I performed a soul retrieval on him and discovered that he was my soulmate for thousands of past lives and thousands of lives into the future. I was told this out of the blue after a 21-year relationship, 18 years of marriage with 2 small children. Story 31. It was the alcohol, not me. Ah, a classic. Story 32. I am happily married now to a wonderful guy, but prior to that, I was cheated on twice. High school boyfriend's excuse? I used to be fat and insecure, and it felt good knowing another woman besides you wanted me, and I didn't want to disappoint her. College boyfriend's excuse? You were too busy taking your mom to chemo treatments every Friday, so I felt ignored. Story 33. It was an accident. Like, what do you mean an accident? Story 34. She was walking past the house when she suddenly slipped and fell in a mud puddle, completely soaking her. Being a gentleman, I invited her in and let her use our washing machine, lending her a bathrobe. Sadly, I tore my pants doing that, and she said that as I was doing so much to help her, she would sew it back up for me, so I took them off. But then in shock horror, the dog ran in and stole her bathrobe, so we both ran after the rascal. Only she slipped and I ran into her. And that's when you walked in. So you see, it was a total accident. Story 35. You know how I love my dog? I want to pet it every day. But when I see another dog, I want to pet it too. It doesn't mean I don't love my dog. I just stared at her and said, Did you seriously just compare me to your dog? Also, same girl, but it was just part of a pagan ritual. That doesn't count. We actually sat down to discuss what counts as cheating after that. She asked if she managed to project her consciousness into a cat, would it be cheating to be with another cat? Because she was always curious about what it feels like for cats. I told her that if she managed to project her consciousness into a cat, she should come to me so I could pet her before she went off to have intimacy with other cats. Needless to say, that relationship didn't last. I thought, what am I doing with this crazy girl? I want to get married and have kids. and that's never going to happen with her. I met my wife a few months later, and we have 2 kids together. Story 36. It wasn't me. Story 37. She's hot. I was drunk. It doesn't mean anything.
Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the video and have a wonderful day.
Story 38. I thought y'all were friends. An actual quote from an ex. My immediate response? How the frack does that make it any better? She had absolutely no reply. Just sat there with her jaw dropped like she was waiting for another tool to come flying into the room. On the plus side, she helped you realize the other person was in fact not a friend. Knocked 2 smeggy people out of your life. That's the thing. He wasn't. He was an absolute douchebag, and I could not stand that piece of smeg. But on the plus side, and is just a coincidence, my brother was hanging out with some friends drinking one night, and one of his friends is just this huge redneck. Just for gits and shiggles, my brother said, I dare ya to go knock out Douchebag. Dude didn't even put his beer down. Walked right over to the douche, called his name, he was talking to somebody. When he turned around, he was just leveled. Redneck strolled back over like it was just one of those things that happens. My brother said he was just rolling in shock and laughter. No one liked that guy. Story 39. Somehow, it was my fault she cheated. Story 40. Who tells me my partner doesn't do the same? Story 41. It was an accident. It didn't mean anything. So you just tripped and repeatedly landed on that guy's tool? Story 42. My dad's excuse was, you weren't noticing me anymore. There was no intimacy. I was 6 months old, and my mom was pregnant with my sister. This happened to me. We found out in June this year that it started a few years ago. My mom was absolutely shattered. I already began losing respect for him for the last few years, but this was the cherry on top. The best part is he believes it was justified in his defense. Fracking narcissist jerk. Story 43. You'll do it to me as well anyways. Story 44. Let's use my cousins. Our marriage just hasn't been the same this past 5 or 6 months. During those 5 or 6 months, his wife's grandfather, practically her father figure, perished, and my cousin entered the police academy, meaning he was either working or in class most of the time, leaving her to care for their 2-year-old alone while also working full-time, or cheating with a woman in his academy class who was also married. No smeg things haven't been the same. I've never been more ashamed of a family member. The way he's handled it since she found out about it has just dug the knife in deeper. Story 45. The devil possessed me. Story 46. These are the reasons he gave to me. 1. I'm tight with my friends. 2. I've got guy friends. 3. I wasn't ready to say I love you days into the relationship. Mind you, he cheated on me since the get-go till the relationship ended, despite me telling him that I'd like it to be exclusive. 4. He was insecure about who I was because I'm outgoing. 5. He couldn't end things with his ex because she was helping him a lot professionally. 6. Whenever he broke up with her, she would cry and that would turn him on. 7. He said it's all because of me. Story 47. I know nobody will read this, but I just got out of an 8-month relationship that ruined my life completely. The straw that broke the camel's back was her excuse for cheating on me. She admitted to me that she slept with her ex during the time I was visiting my parents in another state. Her excuse for cheating was, I wanted to see if you loved me enough to stay after I did it. So that's probably the dumbest fracking excuse I've ever heard for cheating. Thanks for reading. Story 48. It's not cheating if it stays in the family. Gotta keep the bloodline pure. Story 49. My favorite. The only reason I didn't cheat on you the last 3 months was because the job I had didn't give me an opportunity. Another favorite. Well, I gave her a ride home and she didn't have cash. What else was I supposed to do? Story 50. I dated a girl who told me that she was straight. After our relationship, she told me she had known that she was bi for years. That would be fine. I'm bi too. It would be fine if we hadn't agreed that it was all right for her to kiss girls the whole time we were together. So naturally, I was hurt and asked, "Why didn't you just tell me?" She said, "I didn't want to lose the option to kiss my friends." Like what? Then don't be in a relationship. Edit. A lot of people are questioning if it would be okay if she was straight. In my circle, that's pretty normal. Maybe that's weird, or maybe that's a cultural thing. I live in Denmark, after all. Also, we were 16 or 17. Edit. A lot of people have also commented about girls kissing girls as being intimately objectified. To clarify, it was nothing like that. I don't find it hot, nor will I ever find it hot. I know it's a real problem in our culture in general, and it should really stop. Don't fetishize lesbians, please. Also, if I had a boyfriend who was gay, at that time I would probably allow him to kiss his female friends as well. It's more about having nothing to worry about. I get that it may be hard to get, but that was just my mindset at the time. The point of the post is not what I count as cheating, but that she wasn't honest. I also remember that she asked me 3 months into the relationship that if she was hypothetically bi, would it still be okay for her to kiss her friends? I said, no, it's not okay for me to kiss my friends either because I'm pan. Yes, the word hypothetical threw me off, and yes, I am that gullible. Story 51. I think the first one was, I'm sorry. This was my first girlfriend from high school, 6-month relationship. The second girl said, you should understand. I mean, look at you, then look at me. This was just before I dropped out of high school, and she was the hot popular girl in senior year while I was just some short but skilled basketball player. 1.5 years. The third girl cheated on me while I was at my best friend's funeral several hundred miles away. Her dad, who we lived with, caught her and called me. I never heard what she had to say about it since I blocked her on everything, and whatever voicemail she left were erased immediately. This one hurt the most because her dad was amazing and was the closest thing to a father I ever had. 2 years. The fourth girl, a couple of years after that, was probably actually psychotic because when I caught her cheating, I never said anything but got dressed and left. Then she had me jump a couple days later and laughed as it happened. 1 year. Fifth girl. I found out I was her backup while her main man was working out of state and saw her on the weekends. He did not know about me. I for real thought I found the one with this one. I was a couple K from buying a house and engagement ring. And then she saved me a lot of money. 3 years. So yeah, every girl I've ever dated has cheated on me. I quit dating after the last one. It was the worst. It's been about 5 years or so. I'm lonely, but I'd rather that than be cheated on again. The last one was the worst pain I'd ever felt, and genuinely thought about eating a bullet for a while. But frack her and every single one of those shrews. They won't get the satisfaction of breaking me. Story 52. You weren't meeting my needs. That I never conveyed to you. I'm not a mind reader, Allie. That's like my friend's ex. He met all my needs, but not all my wants. And his ex did it with one of the homies. I've never heard from either his ex-girlfriend or ex-friend since, but I hope they both rot in hell. My good friend is probably one of the nicest, most down-to-earth, humble dudes on this planet and deserves way better. He's doing good now, but to hell with those two. Story 53. You're too good for me. You deserve better than me, is what I was told when my ex confessed to cheating on me. To clarify, she cheated because of this mindset, apparently. Not cheat first, then feel guilty. I was too good for her. Therefore, she had to cheat on me so that I would hate her. Makes absolutely no sense and is the worst excuse I've personally experienced. Story 54. I always felt the I missed you was the worst. Literally implying it was my fault for not being around the moment you got horny. Decided to text your ex, invited him over, smashed, continued on. Or was on a family vacation and since I wasn't there, your cousin was. Or when I went to college, the school IT. She was 16, he was 35, guy was available. And because I know it will be in the comments, I met her when she was 16 and I was 17. We were dating as I turned 18, so I think that's technically all right. Feel free to destroy me online. Or when you went to your high school prom with your best friend, female, who is now my best friend, and smashed my former best friend, male, in the locker room. Because you missed me and I wasn't there. Hate this chick. Story 55. She thought she had my permission. Fallout 4 release week, I told her I was going to be staying home that weekend to play as much as I could. She asked what she was supposed to do, and I told her to go out with her best friend, girl, and have fun. She smashed the best friend's roommate. Cherry on top was she admitted she was smashing this guy for a while, so every time she did spend the night over there, she was cheating on me. Her best friend's boyfriend was the one who told me about it. How she always talked smeg about me to my girlfriend and basically set them up and encouraged the cheating. He and I are still friends to this day.
Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.